How are startups founded? Well, to begin with, the difference between a startup and a small business or a lifestyle business is the scalable nature of the venture. So generally, a startup begins with a founder identifying some value proposition that has this scalable potential. The potential such that you create the value proposition, whatever it may be, and then you don't have to recreate that value proposition over and over. You simply focus on delivering it to a larger, wider audience. So that's the unique nature of the startup. It can be easily scaled. So that starts with identifying a concept, a value proposition that can be scaled in that way. Once you do so, you can develop a model for delivering that value proposition to customer clients or end users. You have to make certain that that concept satisfies a need or want of a given target market or segment that is going to value it and thus pay or render the value desired in exchange for providing that value to them. So once you've tested that model to see if the concept itself is worthy of pursuing, then you check the feasibility. What will it require operationally to carry this delivery of value out? And what amount and type of value would you expect to get back from the customer, client, or end user in exchange for that value? You can take these two things and make the determination, and the determination is based upon the ability, the needs and wants of the founder, are they willing to do the work or able to do the work necessary to deliver that value proposition, and then what type of value will it render? Will that value be sufficient to support the business venture? Because you make the determination that you can't bring in enough value based upon the effort and resources required to undertake this venture, then it's not one you would pursue. You'd allocate your time and resources somewhere else. So that's a simple decision-making process that you go through. So that's where you're determining the feasibility of the concept itself to be turned into a startup venture. Now, if you get past that point and you say, yes, what is the minimum viable product? And when we say product, we mean service or information or product. Any of those things falls into the definition of product. That is, what is the value proposition that you're delivering to the customer, client, or end user? You get down to that core thing that you're going to deliver to begin with. Later, you may add additional features or things like that that the customer, client, or end user would desire. But in the beginning, you focus on the core thing. So that's the minimum valuable product. Now, in doing so, you then release that product to a select group of individuals to test it and get feedback and rework that feedback into the core product. So you go from alpha test, which is an internal testing, to beta testing, which is external testing to a limited group in the market. And then you get, once again, to the core value proposition that you're going to deliver. Now you're ready to actually move forward and commercialize it. So you develop and carry out a plan for commercializing whatever your value proposition is. And every value proposition is going to require some different means or method for delivery for the customer, client, or end user. Facebook's model is not the same thing as Airbnb's model, right? Quite different. So you develop a plan for how you're going to deliver it and commercialize it. From there, you go out and secure the resources necessary to do it. It may be that the founder has enough resources themselves to get it moving, and then that the revenue from the business funds the business, but that's rare in startup world. Oftentimes, it requires more resources up front than the founders have, so they are required to either take out large loans, which is very rare again, because most of your startup funds are used for marketing, so it's very difficult to get loans to market. You can get loans for equipment and land and buildings, but not for payroll or for the marketing that is required to grow the venture. So they look for funding from outside investors, angel investors or venture capitalists to fund the business. So you've got your plan for commercialization. You present that to investors. You secure resources to do it. And then from there, you execute. You carry out your commercialization plan based upon your business model. And whatever you see happening, you oftentimes pivot towards the more lucrative path or towards a target market or segment that needs your value proposition more. Or sometimes you'll completely alter the value proposition itself to address a different customer segment or target market. So with that being said, you're refining the model over and over. And this is the general approach that most startup business ventures follow over a specific period of time, whereby you're investing resources and you're using those resources to grow at all costs, right? And the value proposition itself has the potential to facilitate that growth. So there you go. That's a startup. That's generally how they're founded.